Hello besties, it's me, here to start this reading vlog. Truly, I'm getting ready for bed and I want to keep reading this book, but I don't feel like I can do so without filling you in first. You know what I mean? Because it's gotta be genuine. So, I do have dry shampoo because that's where we're at today. That's where we're headed, if you will. But that's not why you're here. You're here to discuss Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Is it Janet? Is it Janet? It might be Janet. Jane? I think it's Janet. Anywho, to discuss her first book in the Throne of Glass series, I am not reading it the way where you read the prequel before, where you read Assassin's Blade at the beginning. I'm just reading it with that. I think it's the 4th or 5th that other order people do. I don't know. And I don't have a lot of rhyme or reason, but that's just how we're going to go about it. Currently 15% into this one. So far, I feel like it's setting the scene well. And you know what I was thinking, that like I don't think all fantasies do well, is like a lot of fantasies, I don't know, that kind of thing. They want to give you so much world building at the beginning, and it's like, I'm not invested enough to care. Like, I'm not invested in these characters, this story at this point. I don't really want to know too much about their world yet, because I prefer to be a little bit dropped in this story and then like start to understand more of like the lore and about the world and like what's going on. So I feel like it did a good job of that. I clearly, Selena, and honestly I'm gonna have to double check that I'm saying that right, because I know nothing about this series, by the way. I've read Akhtar, but I've stayed away from spoilers about Throne of Glass. So and I'll probably read the first 2 in this vlog, and I'll do them like 2 at a time. So please no spoilers past what I discuss in the video. And I will be giving spoilers because it's like me reacting to the series. Okay, we got all that out of the way. So back to how I feel. Clearly she's a badass. I just don't know yet. Like, I don't know what's going on yet. I don't know even who she likes at this point. Like Kale or Dorian are both interesting characters, but I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm just starting to like get to know them, but I want to know more. So that's good. So that's what I'm gonna pick up and read tonight, and I will give you more updates as we go. But I'm excited. I know some people like this is their favorite book from Sarah J. Maas or like series. So so I'm excited to like get into a very long series and have a lot of content about characters. Yeah, that's the 411, baby. I will talk with you when oh my god, that's so nasty. That's the 411, baby. I will talk with you when I have updates. Hello. I'm here to update you on how reading Throne of Glass is going. It's been a minute, honestly. I won't lie to you. I had some holiday reading that has kind of broken up the reading of this first book. So, till we are about like 35% in, you know, there's a lot of world building. You're meeting your characters. You're just kind of getting to know them as she's going through these trials. But now, at that 50% mark, in between like 35 and 50%, things start getting interesting. They start getting interesting and color me intrigued. I am finally feeling like the book is picking up a little. And that's not to say the first, like, third was bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's more that now we are kind of getting back on the path of, like, okay, like, here's your story. Like, here's the core of the story. You know your characters a tiny bit now, and here's what's coming up. So, I'm very excited. I don't know much right now. I don't know much of this part, but she has found, like, the underground area under the castle. She's found the secret door. She knows there's an evil in the castle that she has got to slay. I'm in. Like, I'm loving it. I think she's an interesting character, and I think the men in this book are interesting as well. if Sarah J. Maas is going to do anything, it's for an interesting man. So, I know you're wondering, do I have a favorite at the moment? Dorian or Kale? I think it's Kale. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce that. No, I don't have a favorite right now, although I kind of am leaning towards Kale. But I love a Banished Prince vibe. I almost fear that Dorian might be too pretty boy prince for me right now. Like, references here. I'm looking for an elm, you know, like One Dark Window. That's my kind of prince. And I don't know if he matches that. Another great example is Zuko. So that's my ideal prince. Don't know if he hits that. I'm still liking him. But I think Kale seems a little more wounded boy vibes. Sad boy vibes. And I like that about him. So that's all I have to tell you right now. That's all I know. I feel like the updates should get more frequent because hopefully things will be happening a little quicker towards the end of the book. So I'll keep you updated. I'll keep reading. And I'm finally through my holiday reading. Thank goodness. It's a love-hate relationship. If you know, you know. It's a love-hate relationship for me. Like, it's fun, and then it's also like, this is so repetitive, and they're all the same. So anyways, I'm ready for some fantasy. I'm having a good time, and I'm keeping you updated, of course. So I'll see you when I have more to share. It is time for a reading update on Throne of Glass. We are at 77%, folks. And let me just say, it's eating. We're at that 77% mark, and I'm loving it. I'm having a really good time. There's something about the first book in a novel when you know things are gonna get like wild soon, but we're just at the beginning. We're at the cusp. So she just figured out who was doing. Wait, I said this was gonna have spoilers. She figured out it was Cain, which who's surprised? And also the fact she suspected. I need to just say that normally. The fact she suspected her bestie of being evil. I could tell from a mile away that she was a good person. Also, like, I won't lie, that scene where Kale's on the balcony and he's like, or she's on the balcony, he's looking up at her and he's like all emo. And like, Dorian's great and all, but there's something I don't like about him, you guys. And that's probably an unpopular opinion. But there's something that's not working for me. I like the broodiness, so it's Kale for me. But anyways, I will give you the 100% thoughts with a rating when I finish it, and I'll totally finish it today. I got my coffee, got my Kindle. It's happening right now. My only fear is the fact that I don't have the second book. So I guess I could get it on my Kindle, but I really want to own the series. Cameraman, I'd really like to own the series. So anyways, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to buy the box set or not, but those are my thoughts for now, besides guilting my lovely husband. Those are my thoughts. So I'll come back to you at 100%. I'll share my thoughts, and then we'll get into book 2. Besties, first things first. Oh my gosh, you dirty. It's not the first thing we're going to talk about, but you know, let's fix that up. Hello, besties. Let's dress the elf in the room because there is one. I made a decision, and you know, sometimes we make decisions that aren't good, and that's okay, and we have to live with them. So here I am basking in the glow of my situation. But clearly a lot has happened since I last updated you. I want to give my final thorough thoughts on Throne of Glass before we start talking about and getting into, come on, Grace, you know what the next one is. What is the next one, team? Come on, team. What's the next one called? Crown of Midnight. Okay. Until we get into Crown of Midnight. So my final thoughts, my final rating, etc. I'm going to give this one a 3.5. I feel like this is a strong start to the series. but I feel like it has a lot of room to grow from here and get more complex. So overall, I thought it was enjoyable, easy to read, and I did think it was simple, but without being like underdeveloped, because, you know, it's building to something more. An author who has thought through the series she's creating. Thank God for that, truly. I think something that carried me through this novel and kept me interested was really the suspense factor. I really loved that. I kind of got the heebie-jeebies about it in a good way. Good time. I think the area that was particularly lacking in this first book for me personally was not getting to see enough of Selena's, like, that element of seeing more of her badassness, you know, that we are told so frequently about. I like that she's like still a young girl and she's still experiencing like different girly emotions that young women go through. But I did feel like sometimes like she just turns into this like, well, I'm a teenage girl, LOL. And I'm like, but she's had so much experience in life. She's had a lot of hard situations. I just felt like her character ended up being a little softer than what I expected because of her past, if that makes sense. It doesn't mean that's like right or wrong. That's just something I kind of look for. But I know she's a young character and I know she's gonna grow. This is just our starting point. I just didn't like how people could sneak up on her and how she was like, LOL, boys. Which, like, I kind of get, but I'm kind of like, okay, come on, girl. So, hopefully book 2, we're going to talk about it here soon, hopefully. Hopefully book 2 brings out that assassin side, and we get to enjoy that. Final notes on book 1, I really liked Nehima and Kale. Is that how you guys say it? Be so honest in the chat. Let me know how you're saying his name. I love them as characters. I need to see more of them. I eat and breathe them. I already feel comforted by these characters and I'm just ready for more. So flash forward to Grace that has in fact started Crown of Midnight, and hopefully it is giving everything that we're hoping for. It is time for our first Crown of Midnight check-in, and I do hate to tell you that I'm already 31% of the way in. Apologies there because I just got reading. I was just like, so I could have checked in with you like in the middle of the night last night. It's just I would have woken up Brendan and that would have caused its own scene. I also should inform you, you're just gonna see me in my pajamas so much because every time I'm reading this, it's bedtime. I am a night reader. Honestly, tell me when you read, because like nighttime is the only time where I'm like not thinking about other things and I can't get distracted, you know? So I just, me and my Kindle, we be like that. So anyways, we have so much to talk about. I'm going to talk about 2 quotes that I highlighted so far, and then just some things overall that are happening. So I wrote it down, gave us some direction. Number 1, my first highlight was about Dorian, and it was about how he couldn't possibly have known that what his father was up to. No, he couldn't act that way if he knew that his father had such sinister intent, and maybe he shouldn't ever know. For some reason, this did not read right to me. I'm like, Dorian's gonna go bad, ain't he? He's already so miffed about Kale and Selena hanging out. Like, I just fear that maybe he already does know, even, and isn't happy about it yet, but eventually he's gonna be like, is it necessary evil? And he might switch the script. So basically that's what that quote was giving, and I have no reason to say any of it, but that's just how I felt. Next, we are getting into Terrasen. I should look these words up again. Terrasen and Adarlan. The 2 kingdoms, bitch. Okay, that's what we're talking about, the 2 kingdoms. We're talking about the quote where she's talking to Nehemia, and they are talking about how if the kingdom was to rise again, it might stand a chance against Adarlan. And my girl, Our girl just looks off into the hearth. I mean, let's cut the shit. We know that she's like the lost princess of the kingdom, right? We all got that figured out. Okay. That's what we are knowing here. Clearly that's going to come back. I also know there's a line where it's like blood binds or blood ties or whatever that the queen said to her when she saved her in book 1, right? Okay, we're tying things together. Let's keep it going because let's talk about the talking doorknob. Are you guys here for the talking doorknob or are you not? Be honest. Be honest. I know it's supposed to be our comedic relief. And it's not bad, but it also, like, I don't know that it's doing much for me. I feel like the book is serious though, and she's like, I'm gonna introduce that like comedic character. So I guess that's the doorknob. I guess it is what it is. Speaking on the little hidden underground sanctuary, tomb, etc. The stag in the eye. This is gonna keep coming up. The stag is everywhere, bro. I can't stop hearing about the stag. It's gonna be so relevant. I just don't know how. And then the eye with like unlocking things in the tomb or whatever. The eye of protection. Clearly they're like long lost family. It's all gonna tie together. I have no idea how, but I know it will. And finally, almost finally, I hate to say this, but I feel like Kale, or however I'm supposed to say that, and Selena are giving brother and sister. No! They are not giving romantic partners. Because I feel like they have great, like, intimate friendship moments. And he clearly cares for her a lot. And I mean, they put some, like, weird moments in there where it's like, oh my gosh, you look so good, blah, blah, blah. Right now, I'm not seeing the chemistry light up. I'm hoping it does at some point, but I just don't know if he's put there to actually be with her. That's terrifying. And finally, the final point I'm going to talk about today. Thank you for giving me your time here because I had so much to catch you up on. So thank you for giving me an ear. Finally, Raina, I think the harpist who comes and performs, literally hypnotizes everyone. I think gets beheaded. And then you're like that's the whole reason she was there. That was eerie. That was good. I'm in deep to that plot line. Honestly, I'm shooken up. So yes, down bad, enjoying. The second book has already picked up so much faster than book 1. So I'm already having a good time. And I feel like this book will fly. I really do. So updates to come. Clearly things are going to come a little more full circle here soon. I am sick of watching Selena spend all her money. I don't know why, but I'm like, can we stop just talking about all the pretty things we're buying? Okay, that's all for this check-in. More to come. So I look like an idiot. Oh boy, do I look like an idiot. We are halfway through Crown of Midnight. Just so you can see what my life is right now. Here we are. All three of us. We are halfway through Crown of Midnight. So clearly, Kale and Selena are together. I'm looking pretty stupid because they kind of like, be honest with me, like, were they giving or not? Because I liked him the most, but then I just kind of started to feel like, okay, there's no connection here. But of course I want to go through some quotes, some thoughts that arose while I was reading this next part. I'm probably going to talk way too long about this next part. Bear with me, my apologies. So, first off, we said some nice things in this part. Like, honestly, my Kindle hates me sometimes. Okay. We actually were saying some nice things here because she's like, every step was flawless. This is when they danced together at the ball. Every step was flawless, lethal, like that first time they sparred together so many months ago.
She knew his every move and he knew hers, as though they'd been dancing this waltz together all their lives. That's pretty cute. In that moment, after 10 long years, so this is like soon after that, honestly, Selena looked at Kale and realized she was home. Pretty cute, y'all. But it's like I'm still like kind of getting over the fact that I feel like they don't have a ton of chemistry. But these are sweet words. Also, on another topic, another important topic, Dorian has some magic up in him. And Nehemia is like, she's onto that shit. Because she tells him it's like sleeping within him, and that like when it's time, I will help you. Which honestly makes more sense now because he's kind of like going crazy about it. But she did say when it's time, I will help you. So I think it's not time yet. She knows what's good. But he obviously goes to the witch who's in the traveling show. And she's like, what would a man who smells like Silver Lake do to an innocent old witch like me? And I'm like, what does Silver Lake mean? Like, it must mean more than I know. Does that mean royal blood? I don't know, y'all. I could be really lost here. And clearly I am. Then we just got some more moments between. And then on that same note, we're learning about like the Gavin, the mortal prince, and how he was taken, like he took his warband in to challenge the Dark Lord, and then that he emerged with Elena, the half-fae daughter. That was his bride, right? And her father was the first king, right? Yeah. What I'm confused about here, team, is are Selena and Dorian like low-key a little like twice removed, like related? And is that why the macking was probably like a no-go? Or am I misreading that? Because like I thought she was related to Elena, right? We're gonna find that out here soon. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But Kale has a lot of good things to say about her. Like, she's so clever, amusing, and wonderful. Wherever she finally made home, there would be sure to be some man who would fall in love with her and who would make her his wife. And that was the worst truth of all. And then he's like, I'll go with you when you go. That was pretty darn romantic. That's pretty cute. And then, of course, it somehow felt as if it had always been Kale. Even from the very beginning. Even before they'd ever met. Like, they were fated. Okay, fine. I'm coming around. Because she said, because we also get this final quote, he'd plunge his sword into his own heart before he would obey. I think if he was given directions to kill her, is what we're addressing here, his soul was bound to hers by some unbreakable chain. So we're getting kind of that classic Sarah J. Maas fated mate type of situation. But like, I like them both. I just don't know if I'm getting like forever chemistry, but I'm sure it'll grow on me more. 50% of the way through though, tides are changing, so we'll see what this next part brings. Only future me will know. Sarah J. Maas, you are one twisted son of a bitch. 54%. I've only read 4% more of this book. And my girl's dead. We're on to part 2, The Queen's Arrow. Oh my god, I'm not prepared for this. She's one of my favorite characters. Her and Kale are my two favorites. Like, why? I fear I will never recover. And it's only like book 2. Oh Lord, save me.
Y'all already know why we're here. It's time to give a check-in, and I think this might be the second to last, unless something crazy happens in that last hour of reading I have, which is Sarah J. Maas, so something crazy probably will. But had to make a little afternoon delight.
Nothing hits like a 3 p.m. coffee, and I don't do it often, but man, it's what dreams are made of, honestly. Anyways, oh, how the tables have turned. Kale and Miss Selena ain't doing well, ain't doing well. No one's doing well. We went from him saying he would plunge his sword like through his own heart before he ever did anything to her to this quote. And at last, after all these months, he saw the lethal predator he'd expected to find in the mines. There was nothing human in her eyes, nothing remotely remorseful. It froze his heart. Oh. But honestly, like, it was really cold, Miss Sarah, that you would kill off Nehemia. Like, honest to God, we're not on good terms right now. And obviously Selena's in the trenches. She says it's incredibly hard to care when you didn't have anyone left to care about. We're in the trenches. That's what I'm trying to tell you. What are we gonna do? But I do think, I know Nehemia told Dorian, so this is like, whoa, we're jumping ship. We are jumping topics. Told him that she would be there to help him when it was time. I kind of believe she's gonna be in that kind of veil, or that like be able to pass through kind of like the queen does, to help, and she is gonna come back and help Dorian. Cause I believe, but seriously, well and truly I believe. Dorian and her are friends again. Seems like she can only really be friends with one of these men at a time, but he's very kind to her, says, you know, you always have a place here with me. I did get confused when she goes to see the witch and that witch popped off, but she says like, you stench of the Staghorn Mountains. So she's like, we know she's from the kingdom, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, but I had noted earlier that she's like talked about where Dorian was from based on his skint. So what is there to say at the moment? What do I say? I just feel like, again, like the end of this story is gonna bridge to the next. I feel like we did hit the climax of this story already. I did not really care about the little beast chase through the labyrinth. That just wasn't my business, honestly. But I care about Nehemia. I care about that situation. I don't know what the king is gonna pull. I'm right at the part where she goes down to the dungeon to see Kaltain, and they're like, she's gone, they took her. But she knows like there's more going on there, because of the crows and this, you know, the medals she found. I mean, we're gonna crack this plot wide open here soon. So anyways, an hour left. Probably gonna sit here, drink my latte, finish this, and have final thoughts for you soon, and a final rating. And oh my gosh, part 1 of this video, like part 1 of the series, will be done. Insane. Sorry about all the noise in the house also. This is just life. Bingley, I think, is trying to destroy a crock. Yeah. Are you destroying a crock, sir? Bingley, have we ever been allowed to do that? No. Hey, you. Yeah, no. See what we're dealing with here? It's time to lock in and finish this bad boy. Chat soon. Good morning. Good morning to you as well. It is that time, and it's time for me to give y'all my final thoughts on Crown of Midnight, Sarah J. Maas, number 2 in the Throne of Glass series. Y'all know what's happening. Y'all been here. It's spoiler filled, so you know what we're discussing. But unfortunately, I'm not sure that my final thoughts are immensely positive. I get that we're building, right? Like a lot more is gonna happen here. But I think it's almost too much building and not enough happening for me.
I did not find the like chase that her and Dorian did through the labyrinth under the clock tower or whatever in the clock tower was particularly interesting to me. I think where her and Kale have left off, Kale, whatever, you know what I'm saying, like isn't very satisfying, which I guess makes sense because it's book 2. But I do think it's interesting, like we don't know where he is gonna go from here, so that's very interesting. Overall, I just didn't feel like this story was as interesting or added as much as the first story. I know now we know she's Fae, she's from the kingdom, kind of called some of that. I don't find her being Fae super interesting yet. And I like romantasy and I like fantasy, and I don't know, guys. Also forgive me because I actually did just wake up. These are my first words besides to the dogs of the day. But I don't know, you guys, how did you feel after book 2? Let me know in the comments. I really think I'm going to rate it around a 3. And even then, I feel like I'm being vaguely generous. But there was some interesting parts, and like her and Kale had an arc. But then again, I didn't feel like they're connected super deeply. So I feel like he's a placeholder. So maybe this is just another builder book. And in the next episode, the next installment, as we get to books 3, well, I'll do the prequel, so the Assassin's Blade and Heir of Fire, so those 2 in the next video. Maybe things will pick up, but I'm having a hard time feeling motivated to pick up the next one right now because it just didn't leave me excited. So let me know how you felt about book 2. I really would love to know. Yeah, I need your thoughts and I need your opinion, so let me know in the comments. Don't judge my hair because it's so windy outside, but you guys know what this means. Part 2 will be on its way soon. I just wanted to close out by thanking y'all for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, stick around. Because part 2, I will be reading Assassin's Blade and Heir of Fire. And clearly it'll be coming soon. So, as always, let me know what you thought of these books, how you feel about my ratings, what your ratings are, etc., etc. And what do I always say? Alright, it's time to love you and leave you. See you next time, guys. Cheers!